Okay. আচ্ছা তোমার একটা কনফিউশন হচ্ছে না লাস্ট ক্লাস এলএসটি না তুমি মোক একটা কোশ্চেন দিছিলা ডিড ইউ আস্ক সি কিউকাম্বার অর সি স্লাগ হ্যাঁ সি কিউকাম্বার কৈছিলা ন ওকে মই সি স্লাগ বুলি শুনি পালো হা আৰু তোমাৰ কি কয়গে তোমাৰ যোনটো সি কিউকাম্বার হয় ইট ইজ ইথাইনোডাৰ্মাটা ঠিক আছে ইট ইজ নট মোলাস্কা সি স্লাগ টোহে তোমাৰ কি কয় মোলাস্কাৰ হয় ঠিক আছে সি কিউকাম্বাৰ তোমাৰ ইথাইনোডাৰ্মাটা হয় ওকে মই ভাবিছোঁ কি সি স্লাগ ক'লে নে কি ক'লে মই পাহৰি গৈছিলোঁ ঠিক আছে এইটো ইথাইনোডাৰ্মাটা হয় ওকে মই চাব লাগিব হা মই তোৰ নাম শুনা নাই ওকে মই চাব লাগিব ADALONE চাব লাগিব now the next chapter is photosynthesis and respiration okay in the examination do they ask anything from these activities no right okay. So today we will be starting off with what photosynthesis in plants okay photosynthesis and respiration photosynthesis is something which is not only carried out in plants but also in any organism जो तुम्हार की হয় जो तुम्हार the chlorophyll any organism that contains chlorophyll will be able to photosynthesize okay so first we find out photosynthesis in plants since we are dealing only with plants, we will be dealing with photosynthesis in plants only. Okay? How about the first thing is that photosynthesis is a phenomenon that is associated with autotrophic. Because autotrophic organisms or where organisms they produce their or synthesize their own food. So photosynthesis it is a phenomenon associated with autotrophic organisms. That means organisms that produce their own food. That produce their own food. Okay? The first point. The second thing is that in photosynthesis buji baba it is actually the process where an organism produces glucose in the presence of sunlight from simple raw materials. Okay? It is a process where an organism synthesizes its own food from simple raw materials like carbon dioxide and water in the presence of chlorophyll. Okay? So remember. So photosynthesis, there are actually two words. Okay, so what? Photosynthesis, which is composed of two words. First word is photo. Photo means light. Plus synthesis. Synthesis means what? Production. Production or combination also you can say. Production. Light and production. मुझे पैसा नहीं पता तो that means that organism is producing something in the presence of light or with the help of light. This means the organism produces food from simple raw materials like water and carbon dioxide in the presence of sunlight and with the help of chlorophyll. Okay? Now remember, this chlorophyll is something known as a photosynthetic pigment. Okay? The light of the sun, it contains energy, remember. Okay? The light of the sun, it contains energy. Now, to make food or to cook food, to cook food, you require energy, right? How do you do it at home? We use the LPG gas. LPG gas you get the flame and you start cooking, right? So similarly, the sun, the plants, they have to cook their food from some sort of energy. Okay. Now that energy is obtained from sunlight. Okay. Now it is not possible that you have sunlight, but there is no source of trapping that energy. Okay. Now simply just imagine you have LPG gas, but you do not have a burner. You don't have a stove. How will you cook? Is it possible? Can you cook? You cannot cook, right? So simply understand that LPG gas, that sunlight is LPG gas, and the stove is what? Chlorophyll. The stove is chlorophyll. Unless you don't have that stove, you cannot cook. So if you do not have chlorophyll, the energy of the sunlight cannot be trapped to make food. Understood? So the next point is chlorophyll is the which is the main photosynthetic pigment chlorophyll, which is the main photosynthetic pigment, helps in trapping the energy of sunlight in order to start the process of photosynthesis. नहीं, क्लोरोफिल वो पिगमेंट है जो तुम्हारा एक प्लास्टिक में रहता है. Chlorophyll is a special pigment that remains inside, it is found inside the plastic called the chloroplast. ठीक है सर, chloroplast. So remember, that's a good point. So let us write with me. Chlorophyll is the green photosynthetic pigment found inside chloroplasts of plant cell. And what are chloroplasts? Chloroplasts are special plastids. Understood? Clear? Clear? Here is it clear or not clear? Clear? Heard? So about heard department? Now, in photosynthesis, see, what is the main thing in photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process where plants, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, produces glucose. Remember, produces glucose from simple raw materials like water and carbon dioxide. Okay, so your requirements for photosynthesis are four. Okay, so fourth point is requirements for photosynthesis. The first is water, second is carbon dioxide gas, the third is chlorophyll, and the fourth is sunlight. That means energy. Remember. Okay? Many students, they make a huge mistake here. While defining photosynthesis, they will directly write starch instead of glucose. Remember, the end product of photosynthesis is glucose. Okay, now that glucose that is produced is converted into starch. Okay, it is stored in the form of starch. Okay, so your fifth point. Photosynthesis and products are glucose, which is food, and oxygen gas. Okay, glucose, remember glucose, not starch. स्टार्च कॉम्प्लेक्स फॉर्म होता है ग्लूकोज का. ओके, that means see, yeah, keep our chemical reaction to carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll will produce glucose plus oxygen gas. This glucose is your food. Okay, now later on for storage purposes, this glucose will be converted into starch, a complex carbohydrate, remember. Okay, which is not soluble in water generally. Okay, it is insoluble. Okay, नहीं सब soluble नहीं है, glucose soluble होता है. ठीक है सर? Now glucose that is produced is converted into starch within bracket complex carbohydrate for storage. Okay, so never write starch here. This is glucose. Okay. ओके सैटरडे तुम्हारी এইটো সপ্তাহে বড় एग्जाम নলম ঠিক আছে মই কৈ দিম কি एग्जाम তো ন এইটো সপ্তাহে তোমাতি ফার্স্ট হাফত আহিব পাৰিবিনে कब से कब First half meaning ki I'm talking about the morning hours, not the evening hours. Will you be able to come? Pariba?
It was very clear. Yeah. It was right? That music didn't hold back. True. Yeah. We saw that big and various. वो बहुत busy.
ঠিক আছে यालोके लिखिए समोर नेटवर्क now remember photosynthesis it generally takes place where in your leaves. Okay, photosynthesis is a phenomena that mainly occurs in your leaves. It doesn't mean that it doesn't occur in other parts of the plant. Jote tumaloke green parts dekha plant to tate photosynthesis hoy. Wherever you get to see the green parts of the plant, there photosynthesis occurs, but mainly it is concentrated in your leaves, because if you see the leaves are dark green in color. Okay, तो तुम्हारे leaf के उसका if you look at the leaf, the upper part of the leaf is greener than the lower part. If you say the upper part of the good dark green, middle part को अलग ना warm white green, ठीक है सर? That means तुम्हारा the leaves, the concentration of chlorophyll is found higher on the what? Upper surface of the leaf. Okay? Whereas lower surface or the concentration one you okay? Why this happens? Because the upper surface is the surface that is mainly what? Exposed to the sunlight. Okay? So the upper surface will have more access to sunlight than the lower part. Okay? So for photosynthesis we know that what? Energy is required. Therefore the chlorophyll concentration should be in such an area that the energy of the sunlight has to be trapped efficiently. With all of that, let's just imagine a situation where the concentration of chlorophyll is higher in the lower part, whereas the upper section has low concentration of chlorophyll. Will it be able to produce enough food for the plant? No. Okay. Now, the lower part of the leaf, it has certain openings. They are known as stomatas. Okay, the stomata. And the stomata, the opening stomata is guarded by two cells, a pair of cells. Those are known as what? Guard cells. If you see the stomata, the structure of the stomata, everyone done with this part? এইপিনে চাবা যোনটো তোমাৰ guard cells হয় okay this is the stomatal opening or the stomatal pore okay now the stomata it is guarded by two cells these are known as the guard cells okay they are kidney shaped in nature kidney কিন্তু লিখিছা ৰাজমা লিখিছা নহয় সেই ৰাজমাটো লিখা থাকিব পাৰি okay they have an inner concave wall okay but কি হয় যেতিয়া দিনৰ সময়টো when you require carbon dioxide for photosynthesis okay for carbon dioxide photosynthesis what happens is that this pore it opens up okay now how it opens up the cells the guard cells will be attracting water. That means it will be what to say, absorbing water from the surrounding cells. Okay. Once it absorbs the water from the surrounding cells, the guard cells will swell up. Because if it pulls up, the inner concave wall of the guard cell will open up this way. Okay. During the night hours, when photosynthesis stops, that means no carbon dioxide is required for photosynthesis. What will happen is that these guard cells, they will lose water. Once they lose water, they will become what? Flaccid. Flaccid meaning it is a condition where your cell shrinks. Okay, cell must shrink was above. Once it loses water, the concave wall, it will just simply fall down this way. Okay, and the stomatal pore will close. That means these guard cells, they open up and they close by absorbing water and releasing water into the what? Surrounding cells. Okay, on the class 9 on the interesting topic pava something known as osmosis. Once you understand the process of osmosis properly, you will be able to relate why these guard cells open up and why they close. पानी देखो, अगर पानी नहीं होता है किसी भी ऑर्गेनिज्म में, अगर पानी नहीं होता है तो वो मर जाता है. Okay, that means water will be available around in this surrounding cells. ठीक है सर. So the surrounding cells में पानी ऐसे फेस पानी तो की होगा, it will seep into this guard cells. Okay, it will seep into this guard cells during the daytime. Okay, during the day hours only, or when at least photosynthesis is being carried out. Okay, once photosynthesis stops, what will happen is that these cells will simply give out that water. It will release the water to the surrounding cells and they will shrink. Once they shrink, that concave wall will form. Understood? In photosynthesis process. Understood? Your whole yaad rakhna support. So a diagram to draw with one Saturday. Details of parameter.